Koya, natural Samaba. Na Sawachi Koya, natural Samaba.
Asam de biaba sabra ye kasa yenim because the last time I check here na Al Jazeera eye adwumako no nsentwe adwumako no no munyanda na di se mampanyi na nado danko akufo ado krata wo twe komo mo se wo muntwe omo nsem bi o maka e wo mama ne bobi e fa no ho no ensan no na Al Jazeera nyanda na di so mo nsa kakrata bi sa nkomo no ye beba so ne ehun nsensem ho matamata ho a e wo se Ghana fo nyina ye ni di eche but answer no ye beko sansem ne Professor Frimpong Boateng eye ne nsem odi abeto dwa amanfo se konkonsa eye kasa bia efri obi a oye awo ne mu no ye kwa say NDC amanyo kwa kakakra bi no mo ba beto aba delegates ene ba be decide nia wo be ye frankatuni Ediama NDC amanyoku no delegates kro ya na eba be decide wo mom be gina sa parliamentary candidate Ediama NDC amanyoku no kaisa power 97.9 and a TVXYZ eyewo election powerhouse. Wabra yewra me busumi mu kaisa on May 13 and a decision kesiya no NDC amanyoku be make Ometu one amount, no me decided, the obedi omenim, Safrankatuni, Wabra Yako 2024, Abatuano, a bear His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Kaniman Penny, a bear Dr. Kwabena Dufour, a bear Kojo Bonsu, former mayor of Kumasi. And of course, across the 275 constituencies in Ghana. Dodwana na yu omuasiwo. So mo person mo preso mo person mo gina edema NDC amanyoko no se parliamentary candidate no mo boa esusu ani bi krampo abakire se miamia hodo anase empeso aso ahodo a NDC entimi endi nkunim da no sabre dio mawe ataso so mo beye ebisi kumawu ene beye test case ani nyina mo no ago pramaso ne betre baye kwa ahoma no so ne nkomo teori ne Professor Kobi Mensa owo University of Ghana enkasa why cheche ni wo University of Ghana business school osanso political marketer and as a political marketing expert ye kwa ahoma no so ne ntwetwe nkomo emfa empani for kra NDC delegates emfa nto omutrim so mo be eto ommeto omaba mo wabra omko abato omo 2024 already EIU I predict say NDC ebetime wini 2024 about one. NDC is why we have to also say 2024 we dey wo mo bedi nkunim prof macho makwaba
good morning.
Good morning. Me da se pass on chepeni say when you be kasa na no pe me srifi say me no kasa ya chepa na ebe bia so e be kasa bia defa amanyoku ne enu wo so mo ye ne nia ebetime abo ho enam ade a we ye into political marketing. Quite interested. But yes, NDC amanyoko no. Wabro mo kwa abatu onim. EIU I predict so mbetimi win elections no. E dia ne dia no mo nhwe for a political party a warrior task say obeso odi nkunim in terms of voting for a flag bearer or a parliamentary candidate. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof. What's doing?
Yeah, now I can hear you now.
Okay. My name is out me question na me ka say for a political party bit say NDC a warrior task say 2024 about no person odi nkunim na EIU ne a whole research a hodo aba so metime di nkunim no no ma ban no mo delegate no emfanto mo trim wabro mo kwa akoto aba e de yi one frankatuni two parliamentary candidates.
Okay, I think that firstly no we all having been in this country, you know, the kind of candidates that walk forward in contesting for political parties and my leadership. So, you know, I aware. First of all, whenever candidates had been imposed on the party now, another on the people, you know, of the grassroots people, whenever we had candidates imposed on them, you know, usually those candidates, they don't perform very well. Why? Because one, the general, the public, that is the local, people, usually do not know that person. Only Juma were part in the that, like, on born whom was part in the. And so now the leadership will bring the person there. You're able to such a person. Now, it leads to, apathy, it leads to a whole lot of problems. And then the opposition party will then sneak in and win elections. Into the one imposed parties, imposed candidates. I think that, first of all, leadership of the political party and this should resist from imposing, candidates on the people.
Okay, so Mr. Prof, sign position, at what level? A flag bearership level, and that's a parliamentary candidate.
MP.
Okay.
MP.
Okay.
MP. Usually, it's difficult to impose a flag bearer. It hadn't happened. Most of the time, it's the MP level, and now a party leadership, and I will impose candidates on. Now, secondly, candidates are working the Wowusika, remember that it is not about money. Money is the reason why a money not being there. I primaries expenses because delegates no be in the But you will be my 1 million crying there. I say it's going to be 9 there. So do not focus on Obi Owoska into over Obi any there was some part in any action person, action oriented. Obi on unit in a local area issues no. Obi able to advocate ama in a local area no way to improve. That's what you have to consider. But Obi by or this capable most of the time, such money, I'm sorry to say they both are landed money. Obi or schedule to Mazam Obi. Now we're busy, candidates now back. Then they will use that person to lobby for a whole lot of things. You won't even find.
But I know as a delegate in a better now, wait a minute who say BB sanity, here. Because what will now is the kind of man because say, oh, munti, and yes,
of course, I said, Nipano action was locality, the Nipano, why you do my pen, were part of
You have.
What's that?
Okay, Prof, Twasho.
What's that? Beware of a Chinese bearing gift, all right? Depending who listen, any assessment, all of a sudden election after. We pray. He's now coming, sharing money and all that, and everybody is following that person. You have to be mindful.
Okay, Prof, you better forward the other line. I say, you challenge way, or a year, way, so you better forward you, not yet to one common. So, but Prof, a year Professor Kobe Mensa, our political marketing strategies, or boy, I'm here who normal who do our delegates, I also share any Wabromoko to about Titu, Adiama. Nya wobejina ama NDC amanyoko no se parliamentary candidates ose mamo masika embe ya kwansidie obo obetima sheda to sika gum pamonhwe omonyuma enoma omaye ewo mpesoa no so omomode mo ma party no akoma omo ma party no sa no mani bi na wosamohwe Professor Kobe Mensa, political marketing strategist. Yes, pursue man. You better the number. Near Tuan Common, so near Uriako, a flag bearership race. Near her said, "You know my besiako." But medical culture said, "Well, Greater Accra have titu." And Pessoa Hodua NDC, and we need that. Sabro Mariata Asso said, "You may yeah, I will kai queen Nosro." O Mariata Asso mobile this time round, Wabra Yako 2024 about with him. Na noma bɛn na betima mo metima di saa nkunim no ɛnoma bɛn na wose o dan na di ansa na saa aniswade hunu no etimi abam ni nyina yɛ nkomo ni bia wose yedie we election powerhouse XYZ Broadcasting Limited TV XYZ Power 97.9 what Tonton Sansan so Dwabo Ase e Power 97.9 nkomo no ba ko so ayebɛhwɛ wabra ye kwa anim ye mpezempezemu no and Professor Kobe Mensa and Triton Comono, a flag bearership race. Dodwana, I do a more see war. At least the name Kanima Penny John Dramani Mahama, Ugusu, Woba Pro, when a Santi Mantamo Aprobono. Dodwana, Abedom, where the Titi, Oman, Mumpa, no more MPP, Manu Kumu, and no mo do mo abedom NDC mu nansenya adan na di sese His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Saba Asante Mamu a won betu adi na chi aya campaign di amano sanso na yenim se Dr. Kwabena Dofo ono so ba pro wo wurawuram ato ne nsam ede ama manfo delegates no yenim se Kwadwobonsu former mayor aye Kumase His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Penso ye power no say one be metropolitan chief executive Emma Kumase no ono so say one the boss ebesi akan ono so dam eton nsam ukwa be for tenten fidie no so a na hwe nkomo twetwe ekoso nyina eya na John Mahamadina dodo na ebo. Can that inure to the benefit of John Dramani Mahama? Ebi kra de almost say eni see waste time bio safini yesa beto aba ebi kra nyanya nkoma ye popular acclamation be no bebo party no minim see yenya prof ahoma no so ayensa nko bio na ye ne nto nkoma no so prof otemenka ye betima to nkoma no so em say prof ni ahoma no so so ba so ye beto nkoma no so ba we election powerhouse ni power 97.9 and afin so TVXYZ at the parliamentary level constituencies be a work greater Accra adane de nyina da manfo ano say MPP for seat to say them kind no NDC amanyo kwa wi ata so ombeyi dane saa abakwasem no and afin so kwa Asante Mantema nanu a na His Excellency John Dramani Mahama woni party atitafo ne Ghana fo wa Asante Mantema kasa no wo se ya ne mpempi na dankofo no say Asante Mantem MPP for stronghold but so de na so to form no hwede ekoso ene mframa bia ebo a saa kasa na sesa Asante Mantem no ewo ho ma party bia betime gina so edi nkunim wo ho in fact so hwe na no decision and delegates eteki here ewa Asante Mantem any executives from ma power mo a bibia da di pefe se NDC ani abede se opese wo making a major statement ewa Asante Mantem minim de akoso wo mbeso aso de nso betima ba kan komo no ho ma mente onka usa wo de yachi live on Facebook say na city here. And another point here pa e was here making wa bra ye kwa abato animo ye gidi amanfo peso omunya e wo omo members of parliament mu na no Ghana nya eye mrashe bedwafia enke akakakria bi na ye abo anu yi amanfo de omo wura nyina abese eye domkuma animu e hwe se domkuma betiba yusu wo mo numbers ejire tia enoma bi a wo mo nsusuye mu no ensem fata my Ghana and intina was a parliamentary candidate raceway and ibre pabam nano decision bia e course wo mrase bedwafie ebi mususu se ebeye nyina so e dia ma delegates no wa bro mo kwa abato anim yes because wo mususu yem no wo mo pe members of parliament omo wakoma ene adwen e de ma Ghana members of parliament se party kasi yenko nifa omo ndane omo nkwasa ye ko bonkum eno ni conversation na se nkomoni bia akoso ba me nsan kwa ahoma no so na ye ntoa nkomo no so ye ne professor Kobimensa prof we dey hwere wa ahoma so kakra na wo cheche no ma bi mu afa eye sika ebi mu kra betimi de awurawura elections no ani ahwe ye wo se delegates no eye o betwa to asa point no so man.
Okay, and see in America there, so most of the time people work up press can be in our but now on a work keep them this kind most of the time on your as a what some our partner because now on your party work now don't pay attention to community maybe or cry constituency until the that you know only that maybe is identified maybe our own constituency another but they are only into me any relationship with the people.
That's
but
right.
in a very short period, you know, or this kind of banner will be as an issue. The Kobo to man he's coming with an entirely different agenda altogether. So delegates must be mindful because almost 10,000 or whatever it costs per month. How are we going to actually advocate for the community? But remember that we are working for this party. You're working for this party because you want certain progress, certain development to happen. And so, you will 10,000 Lipano is going to tell you it's exactly what you wanted. Who effort another, who aspirations I want. I don't know which your account.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to, keep that person in check? You cannot. So we should be mindful that we are not following the one who has the money or the biggest data, but you want to make sure that you are looking for beer. All partner to my beer only me partner proper or you more partner will be able to advocate for the development for the area.
Okay,
that is it. Okay, and most of the time, confront say ideological position. Ideological position, all you do papa, and people will always say, "Oh, ideology doesn't work in that." It works because when you look at the way this current administration is implementing certain basic what we call policies.
That's
like
right.
For a capitation grant to the school feeding project, you can clearly see the ideological positioning within that. That is not how NDC actually organized or actually implemented school feeding. It's implemented it completely differently. And you see, my oil in there, another more very, very critical. Ideology or your nipanusu or your nipanusu. If you do not have the issue of ideological left side, you can never be. And if you do not have the subano for ideological right side, you can never be.
Yeah.
So you realize that somebody would identify as the left because maybe the person is poor, he's within communities, isn't it? But depending on another, depending become rich. Then you realize that they are exhibiting an entirely different ideological position, because that's not the character of the person. Until we should also take that into consideration that the Nipalis there or represent the NDC, it has to be somebody who believes the ethos and the character of ideological leftism. And all these things are good signs for you to know that indeed the person would actually work for the party. They should be mindful.
Sasami awa maso yesi ye kano pain anasa ye wrong to ma na ye pese da deja no bi ehunu de wo kan wote de wo kan ase pa eno na da ne ho adi wa mraso bedwafie nanse ya mu ana amanfo kuma mu no ene party na kuma mu no anka MPs no mo fo mani enche ba bia ekoda ne bibia wo ho eno enam so nti ade abufu aba ebi awi ata so mbegina so edi take decision wabra wo mo kwa abato wo mu sasa no na aka na
exactly because tima na nyi ho tima for the party na nyi nti nipa no o feel there obi o feel wabra wa tiska delegate everything it is a party man instruction krana na instruction you don't onye good instruction or you good able to ourselves but he doesn't care I don't know yes baby or baby but when you have people when they have them love for the party, them commitment to the community, now respect for the ethos and the ideals of the party, they would actually see the sense in certain pronouncement, certain direction, and then they will obey. Of course, and any should be a party issue, they obey. You have to weigh that against all ideological beliefs, against the interests of your community. And then, of course, against the greater good of society, then you follow. But most people, without these characters, would do what actually happened in Parliament, which they look at their own individual needs, one commitment for certain people because of money. And they actually threw everybody's interest out.
But so eno be yesusu di anase ade a delegates no begina so e dia to aba for instance obi argument they say one hwa you betima lose very experienced members of parliament
and say parliamentary one onye experience in kutina was call and say I want to work off first no way parliamentarians when parliamentarians parliament has no friend apprenticeship in South Africa. You can't say that the equation parliamentary work in a certain law firm and other apprenticeship in experience that I got. We all went there as freshers and amiable. We'll be all parliament if you are on your parliamentary record. Yet the issue of experience, I agree. You want to have somebody who has experience in parliament, but that is not the only requirement in South Africa to be in parliament. That's a experience and that's a the one aspirations or say and the personal aspirations and the greater good of the community. Why do we still have to put you there? You know, the cardinal character, the cardinal principles in the one, a Benyatimama constituency. 2, a Benyatimama partner representing. 3, a Benyatimama the greater good of the people generally. Now, so these requirements in a flaw and another in Judah. Why must we say that our parliament for 15 years, 30 years into Yankee there? It doesn't work like that. You have to actually follow the interest of the people you are representing. You know, you have to follow the ideological position that you are representing, and making sure that in the end, in Azai and another politics and other Judaism, it is contributing to the greater good of the people.
Okay.
All right. There's no need for us to keep you there as very well. Experience.
Very well, Prof. You're bringing to Yentu Mikanayan call a year flag bearership race and already winning being a wabon that our delegates in regional so and the Chusu leader, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Nifon Ukraine Sabri, Wabra Kasa, you were TV so, and a face so a year Dr. Kwamina Dufour, and a year Obia no year Juma Majo Mahama, Osebo Kodobonsu. Our former mayor Emma Kumase. I mean, so we share EIU report, Global Info Analytics almost report. Any baby omudi actually war candidates in no GDA Ghana for war mumua. I mean, at the end I was a delegate in a year. Wabra yeko 2024.
I think that with your due respect, and they mean paying for 3 in here, and I know is. We assure the delegates especially in comparison with the experience of CCI. Delegates with the 3 now, they have a certain track record they have performed. I mean, if you take like somebody like Dr. Dufour, I mean, nobody will tell you about his track record. So, as a political follower, you would know that this is a man who had actually performed in all his areas that he actually performed. I mean, in terms of when he was a Bank of Ghana governor, in terms of when he was a finance minister. Now, in private life, this man has exemplary track record that nobody can dispute. Fantastic assets to NDC. Eshe offered Kodibonsu and the kind of things that he did in Kumasi. And Eshe currently more all correct. Definitely, this is a stellar person who had demonstrated enough commitment, enough track record. As a former President Mahama, absolutely fantastic in his performance. You know, in fact, everybody, including his fiercest critics, actually believe that, in fact, he what we are witnessing now pales miles away. Absolutely fantastic record. So the NDC now is actually having candidates that nobody can dispute. But the point is that this is presidency that we are talking about. And that's where, when you look at the records of all of them, and then, of course, you look at the former president, Mahama, then, of course, the presidency you would say, and I'm not saying that the delegates should follow my word, but we are talking about the performance, we are talking about commitment to the party and a commitment to greater good. Where only now what comparative track record in terms of Azawu and Azim. Then, of course, the issue is the one who is familiar. You would say that would have the upper hand, because obviously the rest will be new to the area of presidency. But he actually has that track record to do that. So for me, if you look at their performance, everything, they all have shown that they're action people. When given the task, they can perform. But then there's a step, for the selection. There's another step that, of course, President Mahama actually, used as an advantage over the other people. Right. So for me, I think that all of them are suitable, but in another step, you'd want to say that perhaps because former President Mahama is familiar with the terrain and we don't have time, perhaps that will become the added advantage that, people would want to see. Now, the difference in what I said earlier in there, someone might come with money, all right? Someone might be experienced, but if a person has been there for years and hasn't shown commitment and hasn't shown track record, there's no point to say that you are going to vote for experience. Someone comes with money and they don't have track record. You're not going to say that you're going to vote for them because they have money. You want to compare what they have done, whether they are action people, whether they can actually do the work, whether they are committed to the general public.
Yeah.
And then, of course, use that as a basis to vote. And I think in this case, all these three candidates, fantastic. But, of course, in terms of familiarity with the actual job that we're supposed to do, former President Mahama is in an advantage lead over the other ones.
Prof, Yanvanzia, and Common and Sobrano, a commercial say a year with time, no, Wabra Yequay, because where didn't come up him say the session or delegates, no, ever taking. Better as a power, Prof. Professor Kobe Mensah now turning Kanaway political marketing strategist. Dwabo Ase wa Power 97.9 we election powerhouse. And normal way nyina nkogu no wabra yete ye Ghana no. And normal would be wo hwa say Ghana for ariata so say no mehwe so wabra ye kwa 2024 abato no. Enti na anya me nwanwa ebra mete say EIU for koyo mu hwehwe mu no. Wo mo say NDC betimedi nkonim. Because baby abefa bia no obi ase kajomahama penswa akajomahama penswa ga yeni yinsi na for the first time we Ghana bakwasem scandals a would sisi wo maimu ni nyina no wo susu ede toto wo de to apaso susu career ni nyina no eka kogu ketasese ene proye scandals a would si e fa ketasese ne proye ni nyina mu no ye bobo ye mampanyi nanado danko akufo adodin de dikan eye number 12 investigations anas aremi anas eye yete ye wo video ni mu say an eye kwesi nyantachi bo mampanyi nanado danko akufo adodin no say bo Dr. Mamadou Baumia din number mampanyi nanado danko akufo adodin wo say wo hye ni botom. In fact ebere ne bai ma mampanyi kura nya akwanya ene anas ne ni team ekasaye e ma mampanyi kasa nya no kure ba na no anamontuo bi omuka so mbetu ade atia kwesi nyantachi no ankodru ba bia ebe ma obi anya hotoso se de mampanyi ni hu so nsa abrobe fi se ebere a wo fa abuginapo esuaye eka se kwesi nyantachi agunu hu fi no na bibia point out to the fact that we agunu hu fi no ebere mo yeso mutu sa anamo no ekosi sei edie na firi mu baaye eno nkoda anas defo ya woni amesule ameswale yi wo mo sa koye hwehwemu foforo eno kura de mampanyi nanado danko akufo ado the minister of state at the presidency in charge of the finance ministry wono so nanana tisa dankuro ya mu ebo Dr. Mamadou Baumia din se Baumia de ye kwa akoto abanti sese de nani ahrete a wo pesika eno so ye boni din yes, ye betu one more, ye betu the and say Minister of State in charge of finance at the presidency, Kwatranche, and one no. Mampanyi Dr. Mamadou Baumia ye gun who fear, wabekre, and one MP, and what barefoot in the video so, what to one more man could see saying. Ye frame, say, the whole obi betwaka say, was awesome now, what here, and I say, what who say, a ye honorable Dubois eka. Ewo anas aremi anas omo investigative piece no was asam no you betima gina so aka say 1 year CCA after that no he said Dr. Mamadou Baumia who so say abrobe want to be because there's nothing that points to that effect. 18 as I say Professor Frimpong Boateng the report na abeto abonte no woman ya bria wo mo person mo discredit Professor Frimpong Boateng. Nobody is saying say Professor Frimpong Boateng a saint. Nobody is saying that. Obianka se we sent. Nano me ma wote ase se ebra Professor Frimpong Boateng wo ma ne ho kwan ya kwa wusi ebetra nanima ono ananum to waka se party here sika no na eno wo pa chesei. Sa no mani get excavators ahodo ayira ye under the leadership. Sa no mani nyina sense ho ekunkun ho. and the question about adentina what Kenya some mampanyin few ewa krata wo de akoto nanim na wo fili say e was a Ghana for hunu sa asem na adentina what Kenya kopem say krata ya leaky ansana bibi say AC. And you see the member of parliament for Subin constituency what can be na me pese Ghana for modern maso edi sa asem na chi was so hwe krata na leaky na Bibi anywhere there this say was a krata na leaky. Bibi anywhere there this say a professor from Dwabo Ase in a leaky here. Ebia obi agwa presidency no our presidency ho. No aboa amasa krata ya beto abonten. Eti so mo pe concern bi abona adapa wo mo hwehwe sa ni akro no. Tie wei.
Dwabo Ase dey. You know the aba. We hwehwe from Dwabo Ase. Hwehwe eyi nam from mu no document na. It's stamped as classified.
Yeah. Jobin leaky.
Of course.
Was submitted in 2021 March. And Obin leaky. Now say you say leaky. As from Pombo.
We work one the doc medical man.
Chief of Staff.
Yeah, me mami kuma.
Right.
Anti Freeman. Or the man no. Opo ye adwuma aban mu ana office be na be ba who receive. Who receive what date also. Then they are stamp so classified. Because what we need classified ça classify stamp only be
you know the leaky here
you know the leaky here obi maybe obi un MPP obi here obi here and obi aton from him
after 2 years
it's unfortunate and it's not something I personally want to discuss because I know most of the political actors are bobo I know them I don't think it will be fair because in say me nim sem papa
unni mu ampa. Oh, very unfortunate. And you can say, why would him MPP? Ebi obi adwobi. E de na obi aye wo party ni mu a ebe ma obi adwa no. Enye de ye nyina aye dwai. So obi adwa e wo man mu. Sikasem nkoye, amamo ne ye troka. Eno na obi e ka wasem. Ade ni nkoye, etu obi afa ho abufu according to Subin MP. Obi afa ho abufu atu ho anamo, e na o secretary ni omu so munye. Abeda mampanyi anim emfie mienu ne miensa chirinye woni wodwuma wote wodi na wo professor from Dwabo Ase na mane ba wode kwato mampanyi anim no efo baabi wo kratafa na ba akoso a wode eye twerɛdua kokɔ na twerɛye me ba bekenkan ho akyerɛ obedansa na no yankwa yachi na no te sɛ de afiada meka wo no Kennedy Japan wono so kwatena ne TV so ebubo din bi na sabra na ye bobo sadi ni nyina including Nana B wukura wudin sabra na ye bobo sadi ni nyina no na mampanyi wo wai enesa wo frɛ professor from Dwabo Ase sa wo ye konkonsani wo ye obi a ye friends the kasa ne normal na watwere no eda di pefe sɛ oye obi woni mu no wo free mu di atwera ena de na bɛka fa Canada Japan is ono kra de wo kwa akiri Waka say eba gadam say kunya ya kunya mampanyi na na adodan kwa kufu ado why say dua eni hini tie wei oh sound problem we don't fan chai sound problem kese pa Canada Japan akompra Japan Watina ni TV no so bubo din edi adansi dia hodo beto abonten sabre no mampanyi na na do danko akufu ado paja se wante edi hodo amanfo boboye no professor from Dwabo Ase video ebeda abonten ene ne ho kro no ba sabre no ye mampanyi paja se wante ye enu nyina eti se na obi ba fa kwatiri kwan bi so kwan boni bi so a discredit professor from Dwabo Ase na I don't think it will help matters because in the end, no, yes, you know, and ya say, or Kua Mampanyi did the presidency too, so say, what Kuetia Gadam say no, and Kunim Maye. How many years in he? Yes, I come Mampanyi, how years is I know a free abemu. I can almost 1.5 years, not Mampanyi free abemu. Et your Kuya was shy, castle in the presidency, and to swear Kuetia, a ye Gadam say. I could say, what has come out of it? Sika bebre ba your mine sika ye hwegu gadam se anamo tu anim no e de na afri mu aba eno ne nkoma wo se ye yes prof atwere ne de wo de dance dia betudwa wabubo din enti na mahu se amanyofo ni bi ya chase obututu anamo ebi de asem no akọ Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice ye hwese bibi be free waba na yen Ghana fo ye di eche no so ye ni eche kopim se bibi be free waba ebi mu susu se yen kwamra se badwafie na yen te baaso nkuo bi na baaso nkuo ni hwehwe nsem ni ho ebi mu so fili se e was a special prosecutor and a hwehwe nsem ni mo. Why? Because of my Ghana that intra. And here's why. Mame found Professor Frimpong Boateng on one kasane report ni mo. Oko kratafano ba kwa. Watre say, as will be mentioned later in the write-up, the major challenges that we had in mining communities occurred in 2018 when the Forestry Commission and the Ministry of Lands itself decided to give out almost all forest reserves in this country for mining activities. Tie, you can say forest reserve. That's one. So in forest reserve. Kwaya, yadiato. In fact, kwaya, ya nana nom oba de nyankopon de jaye. Ah, ya green say, ye kra. Said the beya o my Ghana asase no, embe ya asase prada dam. Ye kra, said the beya nua no. Ebe mayen from a pa ye betimi dia home ne dia nante asase a obo ade no dia chaye. In 2018 and a Bible pose hwe no bia enwura kwaya ye kudem was it as will be mentioned later in the write-up. The major challenges we had in the mining communities occurred in 2018 when the Forestry Commission and the forest reserves in this country in the country was it when Forestry Commission and Ministry of Lands itself decided to give out almost forest reserves in the country to mining activities. Eti kwaya wasi e kura no ene ye de ma for say wo mo fan kotu fam agudie o mo fan kotu eye sika kokko enfra asase na se wo mo ko bubu nnua no mo sense asase no no mo ntutu fam ho no mo fam pe eye sika kokko. Now this was reported to cabinet at its meeting on the 28th of February 2019. And on the cabinet ekrata ebata ho and okay say yenkai page 4. Was it despite the fact that cabinet directed the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources to suspend the issuance of new license permits by the Forestry Commission and also to suspend the licenses already issued for operation in 47 forest reserves, the directives were ignored and distractions continued. Why the mad directive no? And yet the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Why in the chair cabinet meeting and yet your man penny Nanado Danko Kufuado? Now what she say? Obia yaman a license a webwa forest reserve viano. San ya kroni yanjin a license in free nisem. Obinswa yaman a license dada. What this edumano. San ya kroni yan friend and yankan just one yan a license in free nisem. Sa embrei anasa sa nshei amanfo a yede show monsa including the minister himself woman is so. And as commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, the first gentleman of the land, ye bu anim tia say we ye kom fi sabre no ebesi sabre ye bu anim tia ye di wanim atwitwi fam yanfo buo ene ye nidie amaw ye twa fa so ene ye bo awura kwaya wakato so say yasese ni say ye bowura ho akoye mining amanfo atwa fa so akoye saade we waye ko mu ankasa ene krata ya ba bonten na ye nyina ye genkan na ye bisa saade nti waye ko ma wadwalai won dia ye kwaye oh say kwaye ni nyina kwa ba bia ye green ni nyina ko all because of galamsey activities. And when the likes of Erastus Asaredon Komo, Almiyan Central for Mapa, woman in Zembi say Betuga, Namotata Omo. Obitibi Koye illegal mining, not a sinner for Nebo Moho buying. And who is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces? And yeah, man penny. Now, so Janino, or no bet to a free nipem, I can say, Wakako bought illegal miner who buy. Or no, I can say to a free nipem, I can say, yes, sir. It's your man penny, and another bet to a catcher and neck. Say no me ya Professor Frimpong Boateng Abu Boswe woni mu bi wo betu aka kire ye And you claim he's the leader. He's the leader of this country. One on the man. Now, Professor Frimpong Boateng asem ya wotwe ya, wodi trade ya kwakwa twe no. Was say, worse still, soldiers had officially been withdrawn from mining sites, but in many areas, regular Ghana Army personnel were seen providing security at illegal mining sites. What saddened me most was when Mr. Gabi Ochredako called to defend a company that was actively destroying the environment, especially the forest and river of Fane in the Apaprama and Krobo area. No be a bata ba wafre. According to Professor Frimpong Boateng, Ofreya no would defend this angle for no. And you claim that your fight against illegal mining is achieving something. Now the trobi on betray on the two TV so say it says joining in any te. Also ye moto. Now yentie a year Owura Sami Jamfi or your communications officer Emma NDC Amanu Kuno. Was it Kakoko once and some would waba the young famra kwanso a ye near ye gina so dear good Ghana who fin. And in your was susu say and was a Ghana Nibia ehun wakasa some we TV3 tieno.
The Frimpong Boateng report is the obituary of Nanado's fraudulent fight against Galamsey. You know why I'm saying so? Because it is this report which has settled the issue of whether or not President Akufo-Addo is committed to the fight against Galamsey once and for all. Because any reasonable, objective mind who reads that report, 37-page report, authored by the German-trained cardiothoracic surgeon, former Minister for Environment and Science, and chairman of the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining, will come to the inevitable conclusion that Nanado's proclaimed fight against Galamsey was a sham, it was a scam, it was a charade, and that the real intention behind that proclaimed fight, as some of us have always maintained, is that he just wanted to kick out legal Ghanaian small-scale miners from the mining industry and help his government and party functionaries to take over the illicit Galamsey menace with their Chinese and other foreign collaborators. And nothing more. That is what the Frimpong Boateng report shows. And that is why our brothers are jumping over themselves very desperately to discredit the report, discredit Frimpong Boateng, including insulting him and calling him names. Of course, Honorable Titus Glover has not done that. He sounded a bit patriotic on the matter, calling for investigations, indicating that the evidence is strong enough for investigations and all that. And that is commendable. But if you listen to other surrogates and spokespersons of the NPP, clearly you can see that they are uncomfortable with the fact that Frimpong Boateng's report has exposed the duplicity, the hypocrisy, the dishonesty of President Akufo-Addo. Now, Alfred, before I come to some of the responses they have given to the report, just for those who are not aware of the key highlights of the report, Professor Frimpong Boateng, this is not Sami Jamfi or Martin Pibu, Professor Frimpong Boateng, in this report says that after President Akufo-Addo banned legal small-scale mining for 1 year, 3 months, banned excavators belonging to legal Ghanaian small-scale miners, and killed some in the process, all in the name of fighting Galamsey. President Akufo-Addo ended up making Galamsey a free-for-all enterprise for his party members and government officials. So much so that today Frimpong Boateng says the Jubilee House is the headquarters of Galamsey in Ghana. And that from presidential staffers like Charles Niteko Tego to the personal assistant of the Chief of Staff, Protozwa, to the Director of Operations at the Presidency, Lord Comey, they are all actively engaged in Galamsey. And the man just didn't talk. He provided further and better particulars to support that claim.
Yeah. Nene what say we go who fin to what the court. Fano kwai. Ba ye Ghana for ye mujina yet so. And I'm moderate to my will continue to demand justice. Galamsey nsuo ya ye di mek nsuo ya wo man Ghana ye nam Galamsey so a ya sey no a makri bia bedam nam so nti oba bi a wonyem akoda bi konom se nsuo no ne wo abofra wo yade boni bi nti we would demand justice. Ye kwa ya hodo e wo se boy ye ho ban said be ye benya mframa pa ahome a mo sani nyina nti we would demand justice. Sanya ne ena sa pere yo ebeba o kina bi wo ho hwe ya ma asem we nkokwa wo ye Ghana ni bi ama Galamsey nsensem nya wo hia asem yemfa woni obi a yabo ni di whether yabo NDC ni bi di whether yabo MPP ni bi di amanfo di bone amanfo asay yen sase amanfo asay yen kwaye eno ni asem no wosi edie a ye wo mampanyin bi a ye de ehwo nsem beto nanim a na nke wo so wo to ho anamon fi se na omu a wo mu ye adwuma wo nase omu a wo mu adwuma no mu nyina ka ho bi wo mu di sa dwumadie sa wo se ye no mu di mu akotere ka woni boss wa no watu anamon mampanya wo so woni abere a wo peso bo man Ghana ho ban wo so enchi mada wa koma so nke wo hunu sa de we na wo se wotu anamon ezo wantu eti nene se ba ye sika sam tutu ya ase ya Dr. Yabane ne dom eno mo ka asem we kire ho mampanyi mesraw ensem no mo kan no se mehwe video na sa wo tutu wani ahwebankum ni nifa minim de na wo hwehwe no se mehwe chief of staff ono so se de na wo sitwo wa bra na Dr. Yaba ekasa na wono so tutu nani na ase wo peso onwenwen ase wo peso osuo ase wo pese wo chese woni Dr. Yaba enya adwene no na minim de mo pa che ba munim wo makoma mu se ensem na Dr. Yaba ni betu dwa no ne nyina ye dokre se yentimi ntonkoso wo mamu ema omamu mpanifo da bia mo meka nche se Russia ni Ukraine COVID-19 and anam 20 yesika semasai and the Ghana dwumayefo se tie we.
Mr. President, we in organized labor hold the view that the economic crisis we are experiencing in Ghana today is self-imposed. We acknowledge the adverse effects of COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war on the global economy. But we do not believe that these events are the fundamental causes of Ghana's economic crisis. COVID-19 and the war in Ukraine have only exposed the weakness of our economy and the economic policy framework that has guided economic management in Ghana in the last 40 years. The reason Ghana has had to seek IMF support almost every 3 years is largely due to the flaws in the way our economy has been managed based on the neoliberal free market ideology. We would like to reiterate our well-known position that the IMF program can never take us out of this crisis. Our history of engagements with the IMF provides ample evidence that IMF-sponsored programs and policies cannot change our economic circumstances. Another IMF program will only impose more economic burden on us. We have to change the situation ourselves as Ghanaians. We believe strongly that government can lead us out of this crisis. And the government can do so by cutting expenditure on non-essentials, including the need to stop spending our hard-earned revenue on a national cathedral. Let me say this again. We believe that government can lead us out of this crisis by cutting all non-essential expenditures, including the need to stop spending our hard-earned revenue on a national cathedral.
oh said you are sitting in Zatona no na wohwe ba me frema so a wo hu ne hu si ya hu yes no kra no ne aka kire no but doctor Yama ebira sa no ma we nyina sha ase na mo we enoma we sha ase nyina na mo mamu ha mo nyina mo ka ma no tu mu well better late than never mo nya aka de eti ye hwe in the coming days ye be hwe de mo be ye ebira na mampanyi kasa no kasa mo pension sika ye mfa ye sanka what kind of me kai say we gina Jubilee House e ka say there shall be no haircut as ebira ba no ye yi wan e na yi amafo sakora Emma former chief justice wakwa na humijie mu no wone pensioners e na kogina eye Ministry of Finance no mo kasa mo fa ye sika mayen eti nra mampanyi ka say ye mfa ye sanka mo pension sika no minim say Dr. Yaba de okan no mo gidi dia so mo gidi dia ne etoje mo ba ye no mo de ye ngindi kopim say ye hunu say sa na monto no ensi no will continue to speak. And look, I'm telling you Ghanaians, e bra so say Nehemiah esunsum no e wo ye mu no ye be nyane no wan kasa wutiri wa ye be yiwa yibone pa hwi